Jim Johnston had an amazing career in the banking industry and today uses this knowledge to help others through his consulting company. Jim grew up with 3 siblings, 2 of which were diagnosed with an illness very young, taking much of the family's energies. When Jim graduated from high school, he was unsure of what he wanted to do. The minister of his church offered to take him on a couple of college visits. When visiting Butler University, Jim met the dean of admissions. The dean saw potential in Jim and almost immediately offered for him to attend Butler. Jim met his wife, Beth, while attending Butler and graduated in 1966.
A friend of mine at Butler, who was a couple years ahead of me, asked me what I was going to do or thinking about doing, and I said I didn't really know, and I told him about the Lilly situation. He said, well, why don't you come down to Indiana National Bank, and we'd like to talk to you. So one thing led to another, and after the meeting here at Fort Wayne National, Paul called me and asked if I would be interested in coming to work at Fort Wayne National Bank. And so I joined the bank in February 1st of 1968. The bank was highly respected in the community. It was highly respected throughout Indiana with its peer group. The value system that was in place within the bank was really special. The bank was very involved in the community, very charitable. The culture that was in place at Fort Wayne National Bank, I think it served a number of our employees well, and that they were very involved in the community and gave of their time. And I think that's really what has inspired me to be involved in a number of things that I've been involved with over the years. And the decision was made by the board to sell the bank, and even though I disagreed with that decision, the board felt that we were going to miss the train, miss the opportunity because of all the mergers that were occurring, and there wouldn't be anyone to sell to. And say I was not happy about that decision. I decided to stay with the bank in that I felt a loyalty to the employees that were going to be here to continue running the bank. I felt a loyalty to our customers and trying to make the transition and help them make the transition, which I knew was going to be difficult. And thirdly, I felt I owed the obligation to the community to make sure we continued to be a valuable asset to the community as Fort Wayne National had been for many, many years.
Jim never was a leader from behind. He was up front, and when he believed in an issue, and when he believed in a company, or he believed in a group of individuals who were managing a company, he was loyal to them and stuck by them and supported them, and was exceptional in that regard.
In 2002, Jim formed Corporate and Endowment Strategy, where he shared an office with Jack Lehman and Ian Rowland, for which he was very grateful.
I was sitting in Florida, and my phone rang, and it was John Feichner and Tim Borney, and they said, you're going to be getting a call from the Attorney General, Steve Carter, and asking you whether you would consider taking over the chairmanship of the Schwab Foundation. Well, and I told him I would be more than happy to do it because, number one, Mr. Schwab had been my personal client at the bank back when I was in commercial lending, and so I knew him, and when the bank did some business with his firm at that time. And secondly, I thought if we have an opportunity to bring the money back to Fort Wayne and put it to work, helping charitable organizations in Fort Wayne and others that are involved in dealing with youth, I thought that was the right thing to do.
A lot of people would have said, no, I don't really need that. There's got to be a lot of controversy and difficult decisions to make. And a lot of people would have said, that's just something that I don't have the inclination to want to do, but Jim took to it.
The Schwab Foundation is where I really started working heavily with Jim and really got to understand how he works and how he operates in depth. I tell you, what I really was impressed by with Jim with that was he was the glue that held that organization together. It was growing again, and he was the one that went out and got very competent, impressive board members.
Well, the Schwab Foundation, I think, has become under Jim's leadership, a role model of the way to run a foundation.
Jim is someone who will speak the truth, even sometimes when we may not be prepared or a client isn't prepared to hear what needs to happen next. He has a very clear path to get someone to that level of success that they're looking for. And Jim is a man of his word, and he's a man of integrity.
Very astute, very intelligent, great deal of common sense, and with his warm, outgoing personality, it just fits the role of the ideal businessman who gets along with just about everybody and is a tremendous negotiator. Jim's a very driven guy. He's very passionate about his work, loves people, very generous, kind. All of those components, I think, make him a great businessman.